It has also been cited that the sitting president has been promoting his own loyals instead of the long-serving members within the military. And this did not go down well with the military in discussion. Remember, Jock was there, and most of them voted in agreement to what was said. That even the tenors were being given to people who don't have any war credentials, and none were given to the military. It means to say business was being given to the military, but was never. Business was being taken away from the military and being given to the sitting president's cronies, as was highlighted by Geza. I haven't explained to you who Geza is as of now, but at the moment, stay tuned as I explain more. Remember, the regional ploy that has been there with the SADC coming down to Zimbabwe, it has given Zimbabwe a very bad reputation, and the military has decided to protect the reputation of the country. And at the very same time, CDS and JOC have set to agree that they need to put value to the nation so that we be recognized internationally, locally, and across the board. The military has agreed on three stages of withdrawal, and this is how they stand. There's number one, there's going to be full media withdrawal. They are no longer going to be praising anything to do with the sitting president. Media has been told to stop that. Secondly, no more photos of any generals attending any rallies for any party, and it has been directed to be stopped with immediate effect. At the very same time, MPs who were linked to the impeachment or the impending impeachment have all had their security withdrawn. So there's no more police or any member of the state to give them protection. Everyone has to be standing for themselves. It can actually point to one thing, that disaster is about to strike. Number three, there is no more link to any ZANU-PF aligned programs by the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. Any program that ZANU-PF is putting up now, the ZDF is no longer interested in, is no longer going to be a part and parcel of it. We move on to the next one. There's been withdrawal by the Zimbabwean Defense Forces for all the military briefings that used to go first through the Chief Army Commander, the sitting president, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. It's no longer like that. The situation has transcended. Each situation has transformed. Everything has been changed. So there's no more full military briefing to the sitting president, E.D. Mnangagwa. Meaning to say, some of the things are now going to be discussed without him being consulted. Meaning to say, also, some of the decisions are going to be reached without consulting with him. That automatically tells you that his powers have been eliminated, if not, have been cut or reduced. Where does this leave the sitting president? And what's the relationship now between the sitting president and the military? Listen to this. And the removal of Mugabe, it was said, we removed Mugabe so that we protect the citizens from his rule. And in the process, they protected the sitting president, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, so that he would lead the transition to get people to be connected back with the Zimbabwe Defense Forces and to get the nation to be one again as it used to be. But in the process, they are feeling they are being betrayed. And for that reason, they are saying enough is enough, time up. No more protection of the sitting, but there's going to be all the protection for the Constitution. All the things that were being posted, praising or being credited to the sitting president, like the Trabablas interchange and all that stuff, it has been stopped for everything to be credited to him as if he's the one who is paying it using his own pocket money. But these are national programs, which they also still want to say have been overvalued, and that's also bringing a lot of challenges because they've taken their time to inquire from outside, from other outside companies, how much it would cost for the very same projects, and they saw that the prices were not only inflated, but were super inflated, if not highly inflated, which has led them questioning how this has all been happening without them coming together to stop it. Because most of these where most of these assignments and most of these projects, if not most of these business contracts, were either supposed to be for the Zimbabwe Defense Forces or for the high top generals. But the people that have come close to the president and bargained from them, who are his own allies, are the ones that have brought this challenge. No wonder why you see at this point in time, the ZDF is coming out of the shell and stopping to protect the president and his allies, but instead starting to protect the constitution of Zimbabwe and the people. So when the army was in discussion, there was a question that was raised. So the position that you as the army has taken, does it support impeachment? Then they said, this was the answer that was given in that meeting. We will not support impeachment, but at the very same time, we will not stand to stop impeachment if it is pushed forward by the people. That statement alone is a sign to show you that the sitting president no longer has got the protection that he used to have. It's actually showing the nakedness in protection if you hear the generals giving such an answer that we are not going to interfere. At the very same time, we are not going. So what does this mean? It means to say MPs can now act without the fear of the military backlash. At the very same time, if people are to take it up for marching to demonstrate, there's not going to be any impediment by any member of the JOC, by any member of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. Police are not going to interfere. So it leaves the ground very open. And with people being so frustrated, it means to say the sitting president is now vulnerable, especially after this meeting. Wave 2 now from here. So with all this having been said, it means to say ZEC now are no longer afraid to leak the documents pertaining the V11s for the 2023 elections. It's no secret that things were tampered around with, but the military didn't know that it was as bad as it is right now. Henceforth, you start to hear that Nelson Chamisa now wants to form a political party because he knows information has been leaked to him before this meeting. At the very same time, the business elites have also started to switch camps. Those who were aligning with the sitting president, some have started to jump boat to go onto the vice president camp, the M31 movement camp, because they are seeing that without the military giving protection, they are going to become very vulnerable. There are some who have been involved in these businesses, but also wanted things to be as straightforward as ever. Then there are some who are trying to continue to take advantage by supporting the 2030 mantra. Those are the most vulnerable. I'm not fearing to say the weak notifiers, they are going to be in serious trouble, especially with the withdrawal of the military. Now, with all this having been said, what do you think is the president's biggest fear as of now? The president's biggest fear, as I've been told, is the military coming to do what we call a live news, to declare neutrality to the whole situation. It will make him very vulnerable because all his protection has been coming from the ZDF. And if they are to take their hands off and not give him any protection, things are not looking good. If you look at his allies and his cronies, they have started to divert their funds offshore because they can already tell the direction of the wind, that things are not looking good at all. It's not a battle in physical of the military against the sitting president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, but it is a battle of reality coming into manifestation to say if things are done properly, then certain people are going to become very vulnerable. And let's see where the nation is heading. More information tells me. So where does General Chiwenga stand in all this? In this boardroom meeting that took place within the barracks, the retired General Constantine Chiwenga was not present. Neither has he stood to defend the sitting president. So what does he tell about his ambition of taking over as the next president, as being touted by people like Geza? Here is his statement, as was declared by the inside information or inside sources. This is what General Chiwenga said. General Chiwenga, as you can see, he has been quiet and never commented. What does this tell? It means to say he has been taking position to be clean, ready if impeachment does take place. If people are to vote, he wants to be the most likely candidate to be taking over because he doesn't have any ghost on his back in regards to this battle that's before us. So henceforth, he hasn't commented whether he's connected to Gaza, whether he's connected to the Nyokaima Bunus who are arrested. He never, and has kept quiet and clean sheets. Even if you look at his missus, she's just doing what we call the wife duties of the vice president as the second vice lady, engaging with people. They are just doing everything that brightens their CV to the nation for them to be the next possible candidates for presidents. What's your take on this? Hear me. Right. With the army stepping back, what does this tell? It means to say politicians and now have got the right to move freely without the fear of anyone. At the very same time, people have got the right to be asking questions, demanding answers. Wow. It means also to say the international community is going to be taking the impeachment talk very seriously, and Zimbabwe is no longer being put on the joke countries, but they are now going to be considered a very serious country because of the position that the military has taken. So strategic leaders are now giving the power to make sure that they position themselves to push for things like the impeachment. The students are now going to be motivated, if not encouraged, to be taking it to the streets to express their dismay with the sitting and the current position of the country. Everyone is now being given the liberty to be on the streets and to express themselves without the fear or the backlash of the military. Where to from here? So if the military withdraws and is not standing in the way, who now is? It means to say people have got the freedom to express themselves without being pressured by anyone. I'm well informed there's been a push now to institute a law that will deal with people who do the whistleblowing of information to the nation, to the nation, so that it unsettles the country. But the Zimbabwe Defense Forces is not taking anything for jokes. They want the people to be very free to express themselves. The military wants people to freely express themselves. And if anything is done to the people, the military is not prepared to hold back, but they are going to intervene and make sure that they are going to intervene and interfere to make sure that people are at liberty to express themselves because they believe they are there to save the people and protect the national interests. No button is supposed to be pressed against the people because the military has begged off, leaving it now to the citizens and the MPs to do the lead in taking the discussions on the way forward. With this decision, which is a very critical decision to the nation of Zimbabwe, the president is out of time, and also above all, is out of the military defense. Wow, where does this take the nation to now from here? Look at the twist, look at the turn. It's all because the ZDF has decided to do the right thing for the nation and protect the constitution and the electorate. So basically what the military say is, to the people of Zimbabwe, no more silence, no more fear. You've got our protection. They are not interfering, but they've just taken themselves out of the equation of favoritism. They want to be neutral as they are meant to be. And this is going to be a very big challenge to the sitting president. I was so flabbergasted when I was told about this. I sat down and had a serious think about it. Then I realized we have got a big challenge in our country. I don't know what the sitting president is thinking of right now. Because all that he's been doing, he knew that he had the backing of the ZDF. Because remember, he's the chief commander of the ZDF. But at this point in time, the ZDF seem to have taken their correct position and are no longer ready to be given any hand feeds or kickbacks. They want to do the job professionally so that they get recognition from within the country, countries within the SADC, countries within the AU, countries within the EU, and above all the other international connections that will be observing what's happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. We are geared for the next move of a political challenge in Zimbabwe. Where do you think we're going to be going as a nation? Let me give it to you in detail in part 2 of this explanation. When I was asking my sources, why now? And what's the position of everyone, especially with the decision that has been made by the military? Number one, it explains the element of untouchability by the sitting president has been eliminated. It looks like he has been made to remain very vulnerable, especially with these actions. To those that have been strong, that have been standing strong, defending openly, it means to say they have to reconsider and start to be neutral. I was speaking to my sources and I said, right now, explain to me, because if this message is to be disseminated to the people, they'll be having questions and they'll be wanting us to answer these questions. Then they said, I can tell you and assure you, the military has taken its position and they have said enough is enough. There's no more fear amongst themselves or mistrust among themselves, because you could tell from the faces when we were having our meeting that everyone is now geared to go forward and make sure that the nation works for everyone, not for the few minority. Listen, to other people it could be good news. To other people it could be disturbing news, depending on which side you are. This nation is no longer going to be a nation of sides. It's going to be a nation of oneness, unit, and we all get to move forward together. What's your take to this? Wait as I explain more in detail in part 2 of this. It's given to me.